Hello everyone, No Life here, and today we're going to be going over the museum mode in Def. So, originally this is supposed to be a completely different video I was going to make here. However, after playing museum mode, I think that it might be more appropriate to go over this instead, and then I'll kind of touch back on that subject later. So, getting straight into it here, museum mode will start you off looking at this clipboard here. What this is it gives you kind of a to-do list of pictures you have to look out for and take. And after taking said pictures, it's usually ranging between 4 and 5, you would then come back and return your checklist here, at which point you will then be prompted to move on to the next area. So, first thing I noticed immediately from playing the museum mode is that the camera sensitivity is super duper stiff. So you're going to have to go into the settings and go ahead and tune up the sensitivity for the X and Y axis so you can move a bit more efficiently around the maps here, as by default the 50/50 is going to be way too slow and you're going to find it very janky to play around with. But getting on to what you would really do with the museum mode, there's a bunch of, again, just photo opportunities you have here. This one's pretty much handed to you. All it really wants you to do is just switch over to the appropriate Leatherface and take a picture of it. So the way some of these works, if you're a fan of the franchise, you'll immediately know, oh, okay, pretty dancing lady. That's got to be Leatherface's pretty lady attire, dancing in the road. Just kind of being a bit of a recapture of the final moments of the original movie. I kind of mulligan here. I'm like, wait, that's right. This isn't the pretty lady, this is the old lady. So naturally, I'll go ahead and swap it over and get the appropriate picture here going, which did checks off my first objective on the to-do list. Otherwise, you just go around the map and you would just look at certain interactables, which would give you some lore. And I could definitely say I very much like the fact that they went ahead and added some voiceover work to it as well. So it appears to be the same guy who did the voiceover for the intro monologue when the game boots up, who does a very good job of capturing the same kind of vocal tone and whatnot of the original narrator from the film.
And taxidermied himself. According to Robert Burns, the original script called for a shot of a dead dog on the side of the road, and then the camera would pan to the green van. After further thought, Toby Hooper felt the dog was too domesticated to show in that light and deemed it too horrible for audiences. This is when an armadillo was decided to be their best bet, as it fit as a symbol for Texas. Robert Burns then found a dead armadillo on the side of the road and took it home himself to taxidermy the animal. This is how the opening shot of the film was born.
Now, another aspect I want to point out is that you do have the ability to sprint and crouch. However, they did not tell you about this, so you kind of have to figure out those things on your own. There also is the camera. With the camera, you have the ability to do a bit of a free flight when you're using it. So you can use this to go traverse the map on your own. This could be very effective for the first area, so you don't have to go all around the exterior. However, the other areas, they force you to do some puzzles before you have the ability to take photo ops. So you're still going to have to kind of move around slowly on your own before you're able to go ahead and take those pictures. So there's also a bit of an inventory management you have to do. There's certain interactables you have to pick up and add to your inventory, and then again add those to the photo area so you can again appropriately take the pictures of the said environment so you can go ahead and get those checked off. Now, another thing that surprised me about this mode is there's actually some jump scares, so this definitely isn't for the faint of heart. You will occasionally be graced with a jump scare when you go ahead and proceed through certain objectives or interact with certain areas as well. So definitely not for the faint of heart there.
Hey there!
There also is a jukebox that you can find in a family house. This is the second area of the game, so you can't interact with this right away, but once you can get a hold of 7 tracks from the Remains album, which was kind of a soundtrack they made for the game, which was inspired by the tone of Grandpa's era growing up, in which corporate greed and people abandoning the town led to Grandpa doing what he does. So, very grungy, atmospheric music that you could have playing around
Escape hatch.
while you're solving a lot of these puzzles or whatnot. So, I very much love that little touch they added. Now, another thing to point out is these guys must really hate Julie or something because it's all throughout the first two areas, you just see a bunch of awful things happening to Julie. It is just like, why did they use Connie or Otter for some of these? What's going on
Trial
here?
for 32
But
days.
besides that little funny thing, there's also the hitchhiker's room. You get a good look at the pictures here. I'm pretty sure these were in game too, but of course, in game you don't have time to really look at the map in detail like you can in museum mode. So it really helps you just really look at all the work that went to Family House, especially. And these pictures for Cook and Bubba Hitchhiker Have are just hilarious. It looks like that one meme of the guy just like sitting here with that weird, awkward bra look on his face. But besides that, there's another thing I wanted to point out, and that's going to be there are padlocks that you have to find a code for in order to proceed to certain areas. If you do not complete the checklist before interacting with some of these padlocks, even though you might have the code right, it's still not going to let you get into the area until you again get that checklist done. So if you know for a fact that this is the code you have right here appropriately done and it's not letting you in, just go ahead, finish your checklist, and come back to it. Switch one number around and switch it back to what you think is it, and usually it'll let you in. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, there are some tricky puzzles, especially the third area, where they kind of try to fake you out by adding extra items to your inventory that you actually don't need. So you really have to do your due diligence to make sure you are putting in the right things for the puzzles. And they'll usually reward you with the photo op unlocked on the screen when you have appropriately completed the puzzles. So once all of that's said and done, you will then be able to get into the final area of the game. And this is where things get interesting. I said in at least two of my previous videos that I believe the museum mode would give us a teaser to who is going to be our next victim or maybe even killer at the end of it. It technically I was right. The thing is, I believe that museum mode was supposed to have come out a lot sooner, but due to Sumo dragging their feet to get anything done, hence why we now have Black Towers taking over for them. The character that was teased at the end of this is already in the game, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys take a look at the final scene here in which you finish completing museum mode here.
Is someone there? Hello? Help! Help me! Please! Thank God! Listen to me. My name is Maria. Maria Flores. Please, find a way to get me out of here. I'm begging you. I don't want to die. Please.
So after that little scene is complete, you'll be granted with the prompt on the screen saying you complete museum mode, and you'll be able to free roam and take pictures of characters all throughout the environment here. So these are interactables that let you to switch around which is victim or sometimes even family members that you could then take some screenshots of, which at once you're done taking a picture, the picture you took would kind of freeze on the screen until you interact with something or whatever. So you get to take a screenshot yourself to add to your collection for your viewing pleasure. I personally will be using some of these screenshots I've took as some titles for my video, so I'll definitely be on the lookout for those. But overall, Museum Mode was a very enjoyable experience. I liked it. A lot of people I've watched streaming it enjoyed it. So hopefully they do another one, and this time they'll be able to appropriately tease the character before a trailer does it itself later on, as it was very disappointing. Just letting it sink in that this is originally how we were supposed to have Maria revealed to us to be coming next in the game. But instead, we just got the trailer, which don't get me wrong, was cool. But I would have loved to have heard Maria alive in the basement here, be shocked, and then Gunn goes ahead and releases their teaser in game later on. I think that was definitely the way to do it. So unfortunately, as I was originally expecting a Chop Top teaser during this, that's not the case. However, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I do still have some more things that believe me, or I'm sorry, rather make me believe Chop Top is coming. So I'll be showing that in just a minute here. I just want to, of course, finish this off by giving my goodbyes. This is the end of the video here. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been No Life, and if you haven't already, get a life.
Be able to break those locks now. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. It seems I've lost them.
20-year war that ravaged Vietnam. Combat troops are finally coming home to be reunited with their loved ones across our nation, including here in the great state of Texas. Roughly 500,000 Texans served in the Vietnam.
Please, God, help me.
How the hell do I get out of here? I need to find everyone and get the hell away from these crazy people.